What would you sacrifice for a crown? Not the romantic idea of a crown, not the power, not the jewels, not the throne itself, but the actual, physical, breathing moment cost. What if I told you that being queen meant you couldn't sleep alone, that your body wasn't yours, that every single meal was a political statement, that medicine made you sicker, that even prayer could get you executed? And here's what nobody talks about. This wasn't just one terrible day. This was every day. For years. For decades. The Tudor queens endured a daily reality so brutal that it literally shaped their bodies and broke their minds. But their stories aren't just about suffering. They're about resilience, intelligence, quiet defiance, and a kind of survival that demands recognition. So stick with me because we're going to walk through one day in the life of a Tudor queen, hour by hour, moment by moment, and by the end, you're going to understand why these women deserve to be remembered as more than just names in a history book. This story begins before dawn, and it begins with a question that will follow her all day long. Would you survive this? She wakes before dawn. Her eyes open in darkness. A 14-year-old girl, but no longer just a girl. Cold water in a basin. Straw mattress beneath her. High windows sealed shut. And somewhere in the darkness, a lady in waiting watching. This is the first rule of being queen. You are never, ever alone. Not even in sleep. Not even when you think you're invisible. The moment her eyes open, attendants stir. It's not about safety. It's about surveillance. Every twitch, every sigh, every restless turn in the bed is noted, recorded, analyzed, and reported to the network of nobles and courtiers who never stop watching, never stop calculating, never stop judging. What she eats, how she stretches, the color of her cheeks, all of it gets written down. Her body, even while unconscious, is a political document. The ladies in waiting are carefully selected. They're not servants. They're spies, loyal to powerful factions. They relay details to allies and rivals alike. They watch for signs of illness, changes in behavior, evidence of, well, anything that could be weaponized later. Even the chambermaids, stewards, and physicians are part of the network. They watch for changes in fatigue, signs of illness, the faintest shift in mood or behavior. Every observation flows back to powerful factions within the household, functioning as both care and intelligence gathering. She knows this. Instinctively, she knows. So the first moment of consciousness isn't peace. It's awareness. She's being watched. She'll be watched all day. And the day hasn't even started yet. By 5 a.m., the ritual begins. And when we say ritual, we mean something meticulous, something theatrical, something designed to strip away humanity and construct a symbol. A smock first, simple linen worn next to the skin. Its purpose? Absorb sweat, protect the expensive fabrics. But also this, it marks the first surrender. She cannot choose to rest, cannot linger in privacy. Every movement is guided by hands that adjust, smooth, and observe. Then the stays. They're not the body-breaking torture devices people imagine. The goal isn't to break ribs. It's to shape, to signal refinement, to remind her, with every breath, that her body is a canvas painted to fit the expectations of court and crown. Each tightening is another reminder. You are not yourself. You are a symbol. You are a message written in fabric and flesh. Next comes the keizi, a framework of hoops sewn into a petticoat that gives volume to the skirt, extending the visual breadth of her presence. It's cumbersome, a physical reminder that mobility is secondary to image. She can barely fit through doorways. She can't sit comfortably. But that's not the point. The point is that everyone can see her. Everyone knows she's there. Over it, the kirtle fits snugly, securing the farthingale and shaping the body further. A firm scaffold. An architectural statement in cloth. The overgown comes next, rich in velvet or brocade, heavy with layers and lined with costly fabrics that hum with authority. The addition of sleeves, frequently detachable, allows a faint flicker of personal choice. A color, a pattern, a gem-encrusted cuff, these small details are the closest she can come to autonomy. Creative expression within the rigid rules of court. But even here, every choice is evaluated. Ladies in waiting record her health, posture, and presence. They note which sleeves she chooses, why she chose them, what it might signal about her mood, her allegiances, her political leanings. Then come the jewels. Necklaces, brooches, rings that weigh lightly in comparison to their symbolic gravity. Each piece communicates lineage, power, and wealth. A ruby says one thing, a pearl says another. Diamonds speak a language all their own. Finally, the headdress crowns the construction. It frames the face, holds the hair in place, completes the image. When it's secured, the psychological shift is profound. The private individual, the one who felt cold water and quiet terror just hours before, is gone. In her place is the queen, glittering, rigid, and now entirely readable to the court. By 7 a.m., this transformation is complete. She looks in the mirror and doesn't recognize herself. The girl is gone. In her place stands a figure of immense presence, but constrained identity. The process takes hours. It's communal. It's meticulous. And it communicates a single message. Her body is not her own. Her time is not her own. Even the most intimate moments of dressing are observed, measured, documented. By 7 a.m. sharp, she steps into the private chapel. The air is thick with candle smoke and the faint scent of incense. Stained glass windows catch the morning sun, scattering fractured colors across the stone floor. Gold and silver threads shimmer on the embroidered altar cloth. Halos of light trace the faces of saints painted in devotion. Every surface glimmers, beautiful yet forbidding. A space designed to inspire awe but also to remind her of the weight she carries. Her heart beats unevenly. Beauty does not erase fear. Henry's break from Rome has left the court in doctrinal uncertainty. And uncertainty is dangerous. What she prays, the words she chooses, the saints she honors, all carry political weight. Latin or English, kneel or bow. A whispered phrase could be interpreted as orthodoxy or heresy. A single mispronunciation could signal ignorance or dissent. A glance held too long in the wrong direction could be weaponized by rivals. History looms. Predecessors who misstepped, who misunderstood theological nuance, or whose private devotions contradicted public expectation. They were not merely admonished. They were punished. Execution was not constant, but the knowledge of it hovers like a shadow over every prayer. She kneels on the cold stone, hands folded. A prayer rises, genuine, drawn from her own heart. Hope for guidance. Courage. A flicker of private thought. A candle she lights for herself. A silent petition for protection. Perhaps for her family. Perhaps for the well-being of the court. Yet even this intimate act is tempered by performance. Eyes of attendants, even if discreet, are everywhere. Her gestures, the cadence of her words, the direction of her gaze, they are scrutinized. The chapel becomes a stage as well as a sanctuary. Every phrase is measured, weighed against doctrine and precedent. She alternates between Latin liturgy and English translations, aware that every choice is being noted. She may honor a saint publicly while reserving her true intentions for a fleeting, hidden moment. Prayer, therefore, is both authentic devotion and meticulous theater, a delicate balance between fear and faith. The ghosts of predecessors linger. Catherine of Aragon, divorced after 2 decades of marriage. Anne Boleyn, executed in 1536, her head lost to the axe. Jane Seymour, gone in 1537, dead after childbirth. Prayer did not protect them. Theology did not shield them. Piety offered no safeguard. And yet she continues, knowing that refusal or distraction would be noticed. And being noticed could be dangerous. Within these constraints, moments of genuine humanity persist. The small candle she lights for herself flickers in a quiet corner, casting a golden glow that belongs only to her. For a heartbeat, she is alone with thought and prayer, free from observation. The warmth, the faint scent of wax, and the tiny circle of light become a private sanctuary within the performative rigors of court life. But it doesn't last long. It never does. And soon she's rising, extinguishing her private flame, stepping back into the constant rhythm of court politics and observation. By 8 a.m., breakfast. The presence chamber is alive with subdued activity. Sunlight glints off polished floorboards. Tapestries muted under the morning light. Servants preparing for the Queen's meal. She is seated at the high table, body upright, hands poised. But appetite? Long forgotten. Before her lies the morning fare. A few slices of manchet bread, pale and soft. A small wedge of cheese, a cup of weak ale. The total caloric intake, perhaps 250 calories, is deliberately minimal. To eat more would be vulgar. A public confession of corporeal need. A signal that her body is still subject to desire rather than decorum. This is not cruelty. It's ideology. The court equated appetite with lower-class neediness. Refinement, authority, and elegance were demonstrated through restraint. Even hunger. Every bite is deliberate. Every sip of ale is measured. The taste is bland, almost perfunctory, but she cannot allow herself to focus on hunger. Her stomach growls faintly, an internal rebellion against the expectations of etiquette. Yet outwardly she remains composed. The performance is total. Breakfast is not merely nutrition, it is business. Petitioners arrive. Letters are read. Small disputes addressed. She listens carefully, nods, gestures with precision, all while barely consuming the meal before her. The act of eating becomes intertwined with governance, a public demonstration that even the smallest bodily need can coexist with power, observation, and decision-making. The contrast is stark. Plenty of food surrounds her, yet only the most modest portions are taken. Servants discreetly benefit from the leftovers, distributing them quietly, a minor social function embedded in this performance of refinement. It's a subtle reminder that even scarcity in consumption can serve the court's social order. Every element communicates hierarchy, the queen restrained, the attendants attentive, the court aware that gentility is literally displayed through hunger. By 9 a.m., the chamber shifts. The courtly ritual of breakfast ends. A different kind of attention takes its place. The royal physician arrives. A man of learning, prestige, and authority. His tools are laid out on a small table. Jars of ointments, sharp instruments, prepared leeches resting in cool water. Each item carries the promise of relief, yet also the quiet threat of discomfort or worse. The treatments of the era are rooted in humoral theory. Health is balance: blood, phlegm, black bile, yellow bile. Illness is excess or deficiency. To correct it, the physician applies his knowledge with procedures that seem strange to modern eyes but were entirely rational at the time. Bloodletting, intended to remove excess, was common. Leeching addressed headaches or localized ailments. Purgatives flushed the system. Poultices drew out inflammation. Each method has its purpose. For practitioners and patients alike, the faith in their efficacy is genuine. She lies back as a leech is applied to her skin. Cold, slimy, wriggling. It evokes a shiver. She knows this will likely not cure her headache. Yet the ritual is not optional. Refusal might appear foolish or disrespectful. Gratitude must be performed, even when resignation takes its place. Hands clasped, eyes fixed. She accepts the procedure as the court observes, performing civility and composure while the sensation of slimy skin, damp cloth, and chemical smells overwhelms her senses. Bloodletting is another ritual: veins opened, blood drawn carefully into prepared vessels. Individually, each session is not acutely dangerous, but repeated extractions accumulate, leading to anemia, dizziness, fatigue, symptoms that may seem mysterious at the time but are later understood as consequences of prior care. Poultices and ointments are applied to bruises or sore joints. Herbs pressed into linen, hot and sometimes pungent. The aroma of rosemary, thyme, and other botanicals fills the chamber, blending with the metallic scent of instruments. Each application is both soothing and alien, a ritual that occupies time as much as it seeks to relieve. In the margins of household records, these treatments are carefully documented: doses, applications, observations of pulse and color, notes about her mood or reactions. They record not cruelty but diligence. Her agency is limited, not by law or force, but by expectation, knowledge, and the social logic of obedience. Refusing a treatment might appear ignorant or arrogant, a dangerous impression for a queen. Participation is both survival and performance. By mid-morning, the queen is seated on the raised dais of the presence chamber. The heavy fabric of her gown presses into her shoulders. The farthingale spreads beneath her, restricting movement. The weight is a constant reminder of her visibility and authority. Her back aches from sitting upright for hours. Every muscle is tense in rigid composure. The chamber hums with expectation. Courtiers, petitioners, and foreign envoys have assembled. Their eyes are fixed on her, on each other, cataloging every gesture, every pause. Every word is a calculation. Every silence is a message. The first petitioner steps forward, a noble seeking resolution in a land dispute. His family allegiance is known. One wrong word could ignite factional tension. She listens and calculates the consequences. Granting the request strengthens loyalty but obliges future concession. Denying it risks offense. Potential plots. Whispers in corridors that could destroy her. Every response must balance law, custom, and political survival. Next arrives a request for patronage, funds for a minor church, a grant of land, a favor toward a relative. These seemingly small decisions ripple across the court. Conservative and reformist factions watch, their eyes noting who benefits, who is slighted. Each action signals alignment and judgment, subtly shifting power dynamics. Her decision-making is mental calculus, weighing precedent, personal insight, political strategy and the desires of those watching. A foreign diplomat bows, presenting gifts, a jeweled goblet, exotic spices, a letter of allegiance. Accepting communicates favor and alliance. Refusal might offend a distant king, potentially destabilizing relationships across borders. Every gesture, smile, nod, eye contact, is scrutinized, interpreted, and recorded mentally by courtiers and ladies-in-waiting alike. The room is an observation economy. Information is currency. Nothing is private. Ladies-in-waiting attend silently, not merely as attendants but as witnesses to the intricate dance of court politics. They note posture, demeanor, facial expression. Their observations, relayed to allies and patrons, create a network of influence and surveillance. In this chamber, women are power brokers, often underestimated by historians, shaping alliances, documenting favor. Each interaction reinforces that authority is as much about perception as action. Smiling at someone suspected of gathering evidence against her requires both poise and courage. Every facial expression, every slight incline of the head, is a calculated act. She must project confidence while masking uncertainty, maintain empathy without conceding weakness, balance public expectation with private intuition. Time passes in measured intervals, petitions flowing one after another, decisions stacking atop decisions. She navigates impossible positions. Denying a minor request could alienate a family. Granting it could spark envy elsewhere. Silence itself becomes a tool, a calculated pause that communicates contemplation, hesitation, or authority. The audience is never just the petitioner. It is the entire court. Her authority is maintained as much by performance as by legal or political action. To rule is to act constantly, consciously, and visibly, turning every mundane decision into theater. By late morning, the great hall is alive with ritualized motion. The main meal. Candles flicker along the polished wood, reflecting the brilliance of brass and silver platters. The procession begins. Servants in precise formation carry trays of roasted meats, fish, spiced sauces, and carefully sugared sweets. The hall smells of heavily spiced meats, fresh bread, and roasted herbs, mingling with the faint scent of burning tallow and wax. She takes her seat alone at the high table, elevated above the chamber. Every movement visible. The weight of the farthingale and layers of gown presses against her body, a constant physical reminder of visibility and authority. The meal is a performance. Dozens, perhaps hundreds, of eyes watch each gesture, each slice of bread or sip of ale, cataloging restraint as a mark of refinement and status. The courses arrive one by one. A small wedge of roast beef, tender but heavily seasoned, is followed by a delicate fillet of fish, its sauce bright with herbs and citrus. Platters of manchet bread and tiny spice tarts are placed nearby. She selects the smallest pieces, cuts with precision, chews deliberately, never lets hunger show. Her stomach growls faintly, a reminder of the contradiction she embodies, surrounded by abundance yet consuming almost nothing. Total intake might reach 300 to 400 calories, plausible for multiple small courses but far below actual need. Hunger is an invisible companion, disciplined into decorum. The choreography of service is meticulous. Each attendant moves silently, presenting dishes in order, replacing plates as soon as they are emptied, removing remnants with care. Leftovers are not wasted. Some are distributed to household staff. Some sold to the poor. documented practices that highlight the social and logistical structures behind this ritual. Everything has purpose, visibility, ritual, hierarchy, and charity, even in the small crumbs of a meal the queen cannot consume. Her body is trained for this contradiction. Abundance coexists with starvation. Every plate of meat or fish is a test of discipline. Every bite, a performance of gentility. She must appear unaffected by the hunger gnawing quietly, consuming only enough to maintain composure. The act is deliberate. The fewer calories she takes, the greater the sign of refinement, self-control, and status. The psychology is complex. Visible plenty. Invisible consumption. A daily reminder that power is maintained through sacrifice of bodily need. Over time, such repeated restraint affects health. Malnutrition likely sets in subtly: fatigue, mild weakness, diminished reserves. Yet the historical records rarely dwell on specifics for fear of scandal. What is emphasized is appearance, posture, and conduct, evidence that the queen embodies refinement through visible self-control, even as her body quietly suffers. Late afternoon light spills into the privy garden, filtering through neatly clipped hedges and climbing roses. From a distance, it appears serene, the scent of lavender and roses, the rustle of leaves in a soft breeze, the warm sunlight glinting off dew-damp petals. Yet for the queen, this space is never truly private. High enclosing walls hem in the air, beautiful yet confining. A gilded cage in bloom. She walks along gravel paths, her posture deliberate, every movement measured. 3 ladies accompany her: protection, witness, and silent documentation. Even in a garden designed for retreat, she is never alone. Her gestures, glances, and words are observed and interpreted. Each footstep is choreographed, a ritual of safety and decorum wrapped in the illusion of leisure. A courtier approaches, bowing politely, carrying small news of a distant estate. She smiles, nods, and exchanges words. Her heart quickens, not from pleasure, but the constant calculation of risk. A casual phrase, a momentary glance, a too familiar step could be weaponized in rumor, letter, or memory. The garden's beauty contrasts sharply with the claustrophobia of constant vigilance. Everything is dangerous because everything can be misinterpreted. Even roses and sunlit gravel become a stage where missteps might carry consequence. The fragrance of roses mixes with the earthy aroma of tilled soil. Her fingers brush against soft petals, delicate and slightly damp. Gravel crunches under her shoes. The distant song of birds offers faint comfort. Yet the mind is alert. Every shadow might hide a watcher, every turn of the head an unspoken judgment. Peace is partial. Relief mingled with fear. Her lungs draw in fresh air. Her eyes take in the pattern of blooms, the curve of the fountain. A moment of calm, the rhythm of walking, the soft whisper of leaves, offers rare grounding. But anxiety is never far. Every conversation is coded. Every smile a potential misstep. Every casual observation a note in the invisible ledger of favor and suspicion. Historical records confirm that gardens and palaces were both spaces of beauty and instruments of surveillance. Walls, latticework, and attendants ensured the monarch was visible while providing an illusion of privacy. Walks were choreographed. Encounters were structured. Leisure was never fully leisure. Even a polite conversation about roses is an exercise in subtle diplomacy. A test of observation, discretion, and composure. As she reaches the far end of the garden, the briefest sensation of freedom lingers. Sun on skin, breeze across her face, the smell of herbs and roses. Yet this fleeting reprieve is framed by ever-present constraint. Every sound, movement, and word is observed, remembered, and potentially misinterpreted. The chapel is quiet in the late afternoon. A hushed space warmed by the low sun filtering through stained glass windows. Candles flicker along carved sills, their wax scent mingling with faint incense. At 3 p.m., she kneels on the stone floor, hands folded, crossing herself as she murmurs Latin prayers taught by priests. For 15 minutes, she is physically aligned with devotion, but her mind is elsewhere. She prayed, but not for what everyone thought she prayed for. The ghosts of predecessors linger in thought. Catherine of Aragon, divorced after 2 decades of marriage, a queen stripped of power and dignity. And Boleyn, executed in 1536, her head lost to the axe, political ambitions and personal defiance crushed in an instant. Jane Seymour, gone in 1537, dead after childbirth, leaving the court to mourn in whispers. Prayer did not protect them. Theology did not shield them. Piety offered no safeguard. And yet she continues, knowing that refusal or distraction would be noticed. And being noticed could be dangerous. Each gesture is both authentic and performative. Hands fold. Fingers clasp. Shoulders slump in humility. Lips move in repetition. The Latin phrases are familiar, comforting, structured, a ritual framework she can inhabit. But in her mind, she prays not for what is expected, the birth of a son, the favor of the king, but for one day of invisibility, for the chance to exist briefly without observation or calculation. The chapel becomes a space of dual consciousness, outward devotion, inward vigilance. Henry VIII theology is mutable, shifting from loyalty to Rome to absolute supremacy over the Church of England, leaving his queens vulnerable to doctrinal scrutiny. A misremembered prayer could be dangerous. A hesitation in ritual could be misinterpreted. A perceived lack of devotion could be weaponized. Each could be politically or personally perilous. Letters and household accounts record both the care and fear surrounding religious observance in this era. Prayer is survival as much as spiritual expression. An invisible shield performed for both God and court. The cold stone of the kneeling bench presses against her knees. The flicker of candlelight dances across embroidered altar cloths. The scent of beeswax and incense hangs faintly in the air. The quiet is punctuated by her own breathing, her whispered prayers, and the faint rustle of vestments as attendants move outside the chapel doors. Even in this sacred space, the tension of observation persists. Walls are not barriers to worry, only markers of ritual propriety. The emotional weight lies in the contrast between external expectation and internal desire. Publicly, she prays for dynastic continuation and royal favor. Privately, she seeks respite, a single moment of unseen freedom. Each crossing of the body, each bowed head, is layered: devotion, performance, calculation, and fleeting rebellion. The mental toll of knowing the fates of her predecessors presses in with every syllable. In these 15 minutes, prayer becomes both armor and vulnerability. It structures the afternoon, channels anxiety, and provides fleeting agency within constraint. She leaves the chapel composed, outwardly faithful, inwardly alert, carrying the awareness that even the act of devotion is a political gesture. And yet, in small, private corners of thought, it is also a moment of personal survival. Evening falls softly, painting the chamber in muted orange and gold. The hall smells of candles and lingering spices from earlier meals. By now, she has been awake for over 12 hours, bled, prodded, stitched, walked, prayed, and governed. Her back aches from rigid posture. Her head pulses from fatigue. Hunger gnaws sharply, a persistent reminder of the day's minimal intake. Total calories likely hover around 800, far below what her body truly requires. The evening meal is lighter than the midday feast. Yet the ritual of performance remains unchanged. A small piece of cheese rests on a silver plate. A single strawberry glistens in its juice. Watered wine sits nearby. Leftover meats may appear occasionally, carefully portioned, but she touches each sparingly. Every bite is deliberate, measured, graceful. The hall watches, as always, attendants, ladies-in-waiting, and any lingering court observers noting composure, restraint, and refinement. The physical toll is pronounced. Fingers ache from stitching. Muscles stiffen from standing and walking. Stomach protests. Energy wanes. She sips wine slowly, the faint tartness cool against the tongue. Bites cheese that is dry but nourishing. Savors the sweetness of the strawberry. Each taste is muted by exhaustion. Yet she maintains the calm and elegance expected of a queen. Fatigue presses upon her, but performance must not falter. Servants clear plates with precise movements, distributing leftovers to household staff or the poor, ensuring the ritual of abundance is maintained even as her consumption remains minimal. The choreography mirrors the earlier meals: grace, restraint, ritual, hierarchy. Hunger, weakness, and ache are hidden beneath polished manners. She recognizes how much longer the day stretches ahead. 4 more hours of protocol, reflection, and observation before sleep arrives. The realization is heavy, a mixture of resignation and persistence. The body cries for rest and nourishment. The role demands endurance, discipline, and composure. The great hall thrums with energy. Musicians play vigorously, drums pounding, lutes and viols weaving rapid melodies, tambourines keeping a brisk, relentless rhythm. The court gathers around, every noble eye watching, every gesture noted. Candles flicker along high sconces, their light glinting off polished floors, gilded banners, and her jeweled attire. Tonight is public performance. The queen herself is the centerpiece. She steps onto the floor in a gown weighing approximately 40 pounds, layered over corset and farthingale, with removable sleeves that constrain her arms but allow minimal flourish. The fabric is stiff, the folds heavy. The corset restricts breath, forcing careful control of each inhale and movement. Her back throbs from repeated treatments. Legs ache from hours of walking and standing. Her feet bear the beginnings of blisters from stiff, narrow shoes. Every movement must balance grace with endurance. Would you have made it this far? The dance begins. Galliards and pavans are energetic, demanding, and exacting. The galliard's leaps and spins test both stamina and poise. The slow pavans require unwavering posture and precise foot placement. She moves with practiced elegance, masking fatigue, hunger, and discomfort behind a serene smile. Her head remains lifted, arms extended gracefully, fingers delicate. But internally each step is measured, each breath rationed. Dizziness creeps in from exertion and undernourishment. Yet she conceals it. The blur of candlelight, motion, and noble faces threatens disorientation. But composure must hold. Courtly entertainment is not voluntary. Attendance and participation are mandatory. A demonstration of presence, status, and obedience. The queen's endurance is a symbol of authority and stamina. Refusal would be unthinkable. Each repetition of movement reinforces hierarchy. She is admired, observed, and evaluated. Exhaustion accumulates invisibly, layered upon the day's bloodletting, walks, prayers, meals, and stitches. Pain is normalized, internalized, and masked beneath outward elegance. The weight of fabric pulls at her shoulders with every turn. The corset compresses ribs, making inhalation shallow. The blistered skin burns with each step. The hall swirls with light, sound, and movement. The scent of beeswax, sweat, and candle smoke mingles with faint perfume. She tastes the dryness of her own mouth, feels the hunger gnawing at her stomach, notes the ache in every joint, but none of this is visible to the audience. The performance requires both physical and psychological mastery. A moment when her body begs her to collapse. When dizziness threatens. When muscles scream. Yet the music continues. The audience continues. She must dance again. Pain, hunger, exhaustion, all must be hidden behind joy, elegance, and the illusion of effortless authority. Each smile, bow, and step is a conscious act of endurance masquerading as pleasure. Documented dance types emphasize the reality of this effort. Galliards, courants, and pavans required stamina, agility, and control. Even trained dancers would tire, yet she maintains the illusion of lightness, levity, and grace. A masterful performance of body, face, and mind. Court observers may only see poise and refinement. They do not perceive the inner calculus of endurance, the constant management of fatigue, hunger, and pain. At last, the day's relentless performance concludes. The clock strikes 9 p.m. She returns to her private chambers, a space that offers the faintest promise of autonomy. The room is dim, lit by a single candle, the faint scent of lavender and beeswax hanging in the air. Here begins the undressing ritual, the mirror image of morning's ceremonial transformation, yet stripped of public scrutiny, though not entirely of oversight. Jewels come first, each counted and recorded by attendants. Rings, brooches, necklaces, earrings, every piece of gold and gemstone meticulously noted. Part of the unending accountability of status. Pins in the headdress are carefully removed. Some pull at the scalp, leaving tiny spots of blood. The careful extraction is a small exercise in endurance even after a day of activity. The overgown follows, heavy and layered, then the kirtle, sleeves, and finally the corset. The moment the corset loosens is profound relief. Ribs expand. Breathing deepens. The rigid, sculptural posture imposed for hours melts into a natural, human alignment. For the first time all day, her body is her own, and she has minutes to enjoy it. She exhales, shoulders dropping, back muscles relaxing. The body she has carried as a symbol begins to exist as a body again. For a fleeting instant, she is herself, no longer a living emblem of courtly authority or ritualized grace, but a person, a girl, someone with a body that's simply hers. Even in this private moment, the transition is delicate. She is vulnerable, briefly semi-naked between layers, between identities. Eyes have long observed her movements. Though the day's attendants have departed, awareness of scrutiny lingers, a psychological residue of performance. Yet within this vulnerability is physical and emotional release, cool air against warm skin, the ease of moving without constraint, the gentle stretch of muscles freed from stiff fabrics. A fresh nightgown is drawn over her body. Linen, soft and loose. It embraces her in comfort unmatched by the rigid costumes of the day. The only clothing that allows for true bodily ease. A fabric designed for sleep rather than display. She climbs into bed. The sheets cool and crisp beneath her. The mattress yielding at last to her tired form. A final refreshment is offered. A small piece of manchet bread, watered wine, perhaps a piece of marzipan, tiny sustenance after hours of near starvation. It is nourishment and ritual combined. A gentle endnote to a day of extreme structure and performance. Relief is palpable, profound, and fleeting. A private victory in a life largely defined by public expectation. By 10 p.m., the final prayer service of the day begins. Compline, brief yet exacting, held in her private chamber. She kneels on the stone floor beside the bedside. Nightgown loose against her skin. Candles flickering faintly against the walls. Her chaplain whispers Latin prayers. The rhythm calm and measured. A small cadre of ladies-in-waiting observes respectfully. The ritual is a mixture of spiritual devotion and subtle performance. Even in private, appearances must maintain dignity and compliance. When the service concludes, all attendants withdraw except the lady assigned to sleep at the foot of the bed. A constant reminder of surveillance that never ends. Candles are extinguished one by one, leaving only shadows to occupy the chamber. Darkness settles in like a heavy curtain, pressing against the senses. She couldn't sleep yet. Fear keeps you awake. The soft rustle of the lady's movements, her even breathing, forms the only audible backdrop. Yet the mind refuses rest. A spiral of anxiety begins, creeping over the edges of consciousness. Did she smile at the wrong person in the garden this afternoon? Did her laughter in the hall of dancing betray weakness? Was a word misinterpreted during the morning petitions? Each moment, each gesture is replayed, dissected, and measured against potential consequences. Pregnancy dominates thought as well. Questions surface in rapid succession. Am I pregnant? Should I be pregnant by now? What if I'm not? What if I am, and something goes wrong? Historical records show that queens lived under extreme scrutiny regarding fertility and succession. Fear of miscarriage or failure to conceive could dominate private reflection. The pressure is relentless. Favor, dynastic expectation, personal health, all converge in private terror that mirrors the public pressures of performance. Surveillance is never truly absent. Even in darkness, the presence of the lady at the foot of the bed reinforces vulnerability. A reminder that privacy is conditional. The queen's thoughts oscillate between what she genuinely feels and what she must have others perceive: faithful, dutiful, composed. Anxiety does not pause. It shifts its arena from public performance to interior vigilance, magnifying each imagined misstep or bodily failure. The darkness presses against her eyes. The chamber is cool against her exposed skin. She hears the gentle breathing of the lady at the foot of the bed, feels the faint rustle of linens, the soft creak of the mattress beneath her own shifting weight. Heartbeats quicken. Thoughts race uncontrollably. Stomach knots from tension and exhaustion. Sleep, though desperately needed, remains just out of reach. The body longs for rest. Muscles ache. Energy is depleted. Yet the mind is fully alive with the fears of misinterpretation, political danger, and biological uncertainty. But this was just one day. Now imagine it again and again for years. The day we have traced is not an anomaly. It is a single rotation in a relentless cycle of obligation, performance, and endurance, a microcosm of life at the Tudor court. For each queen, this same rhythm repeated with variations dictated by season, ceremony, pregnancy, and state necessity. The crown was never merely adornment. It was a daily contract of visibility, ritual, and risk, renewed hour by hour, week by week, year by year. Special circumstances magnified the strain. Royal progresses, months of travel across the country, required the same exacting performance on unfamiliar beds, in drafty halls, and with ever-present attendance. Feast days and festivals expanded expectations. More dancing, more prayers, more petitions, more scrutiny. Pregnancies introduced new layers of constraint, specific medical interventions, modified diets, restricted mobility, and extended confinement to lying in chambers for months. Royal christenings and state visits demanded flawless poise and stamina even when fatigue, illness, or malnutrition pressed heavily against the body. Every additional event was amplified visibility, where missteps could ripple into political and personal consequences. The cumulative toll on the body was severe. Chronic malnutrition from ritualized undereating, repeated bloodletting causing anemia, exhaustion from constant physical and social performance, stress affecting menstruation and fertility, all of it combined into long-term physiological impact. Medical interventions, though guided by contemporary knowledge, often compounded harm. Bloodletting weakened the body over time. Purgatives and poultices caused repeated digestive distress. Lead-based makeup, widely used for the pale, idealized complexion, caused documented hair loss and skin damage. Even small routines accumulated into a persistent, body-wide strain. Pregnancy was both a hope and a hazard. Childbirth remained dangerous. Regional estimates suggest 1 in 4 to 1 in 3 women died in labor, primarily due to infection or hemorrhage. Medical care varied. Some queens experienced better outcomes than others, but every pregnancy came with risk, observation, and additional surveillance and performance. Letters and court records indicate that treatments were often intrusive yet expected. The Queen's compliance a social and political imperative. Understanding the timeline each queen faced sharpens perspective. Catherine of Aragon endured 24 years of court, producing heirs, and ultimately divorced. A life of long-term expectation and disappointment. Anne Boleyn reigned 3 years, executed under charges that may have been political as much as personal. Jane Seymour lasted months, dying in childbed shortly after giving birth. Anne of Cleves survived 6 months, divorced without scandalous death but enduring scrutiny and ceremonial expectations. Catherine Howard's 17 months ended in execution. Catherine Parr survived 3.5 years but died in childbed after remarriage. Each queen's tenure was framed by intense performance, reproductive expectation, and variable medical outcomes. Personal endurance and survival constantly tested. The psychological cost compounded the physical. The timeline pressure, tracking pregnancies, fertility, age, court favor, was relentless. Each missed pregnancy, failed attempt, or delayed birth became a mark against her, a potential reason for censure or replacement. Performance was cumulative, a day of endurance stacked upon months and years of ritualized vigilance, surveillance, and bodily management. The crown is constant, the obligations unending. The consequences of error, fatigue, or failure never truly dissipate. Each day repeats the narrative we traced, the performance of authority, the masking of exhaustion and pain, the endurance of ritual, and the navigation of relentless scrutiny. To imagine a Tudor queen's life is to imagine relentless repetition. Rituals, dances, prayers, meals, surveillance, medical interventions, and the weight of public expectation. Repeated through days, months, and years, all under the unyielding gaze of court and king. One day is exhausting. A lifetime is a testament to resilience, fragility, and human endurance in the shadow of power. Remember them not as names in a rhyme, but as women who endured this daily reality. They deserve that recognition. After tracing the unrelenting cycle of one day and understanding how it repeated, compounded, and intensified over months and years, it becomes necessary to step back. To see these queens not merely as performers of ritual, duty, and endurance, but as fully human. Beyond the corsets, the bloodletting, the surveillance, and the courtly obligations, they had preferences, fears, small joys, and moments of genuine connection. And Boleyn loved reading, immersing herself in poetry, letters, and continental scholarship. She sought knowledge as both refuge and expression, finding solace in intellectual pursuit amid the pressures of fertility, public display, and political intrigue. Jane Seymour's letters suggest a mind capable of reasoned judgment, practical intelligence, and awareness of courtly dynamics. Catherine Howard, young and potentially manipulated, still exhibited moments of vivacity and curiosity, traits tragically entangled with her inexperience and vulnerability. Catherine Parr, surviving the king's court through strategy, education, and diplomacy, demonstrated learning, political acumen, and resilience that allowed her to navigate danger more successfully than many of her predecessors. Catherine of Aragon maintained dignity and moral authority, even in exile, showing endurance not only of courtly expectation but of public scrutiny, marital betrayal, and personal loss. Yet even as we recognize these human dimensions, the inhuman expectations imposed upon them must not be forgotten. They were required to produce a male heir while undernourished, exhausted, and medically undermined. To be beautiful, even as the makeup they wore, white lead and powders, poisoned their skin and hair. To be gracious, even while terrified, constantly surveilled, and negotiating impossible courtly demands. To be powerful, even while stripped of autonomy, manipulated by political factions, and judged by standards impossible for any human to meet. Their achievements, small or large, are remarkable precisely because of these constraints. Letters, surviving accounts, and records reveal moments of personal agency, intellect, and influence, even when mediated through layers of performance. They wrote. They made decisions within narrow windows. They cultivated relationships. They found fleeting moments of joy, reflection, and self-expression. The embroidery, the needlework, the clandestine readings, and the careful words and letters, all these acts are traces of humanity thriving amid unrelenting performance. We view them through a limited lens. Most records are official, filtered through court clerks, attendants, and historians seeking to preserve ceremony, reputation, or scandal. Yet by reading between lines, through letters, observations, and surviving artifacts, we glimpse the person beneath the crown. A woman breathing, aching, hoping, and fearing. Every measured smile, every graceful gesture, every discreet act of defiance or preference speaks to resilience. The emotional weight is profound, sadness at the inhumanity of expectation, but respect for their endurance. Candlelight flickers across empty chambers, a reminder that the cycle will begin again tomorrow. Yet they endured. They persisted. They exerted agency where possible and navigated peril with courage. Their stories are not merely drama, scandal, or spectacle. They are lessons in the human cost of power, gendered expectation, and societal constraints. As we close this narrative, it is worth reflecting on what endures: the Queen's resilience, intellect, and humanity. These women were more than names in a rhyme, more than historical footnotes or sensationalized figures. They endured daily realities that were simultaneously physically punishing, socially exacting, and psychologically exhausting. They achieved, influenced, and survived, leaving behind a legacy of courage and complexity that deserves acknowledgement. In this acknowledgement lies both tribute and understanding, a chance to see past the crown and the ceremony into the human experience of women who bore it all, day after day, year after year, with strength, intelligence, and grace that continues to resonate.